This content is brought to you by Scoutz, the strongest Salesforce hub in the Nordics and Poland, bringing tech solutions to Danish banks.
Piotr, I'm leaving you with our audience. Thank you so much for being here with us at SForce Europe.
All right. Can you guys hear me, by the way? It's all good? Yeah. So thanks and welcome. And thank you, Pavel, for organizing it. Very professional. I may get a little bit of a stage fright, so you need to excuse me. Today I want to tell you a little bit about leading cross-functional projects in Salesforce implementations. I like cooking, so this will be a theme of my deck. You need to excuse me as well, as my presentation will be a little bit more functional and a little less serious, as you can see. So, my name is Piotr. I'm in Salesforce ecosystem for past 10 years. Currently holding 20 Salesforce certifications, and I lead Salesforce consulting practice for EMEA region in VRP Consulting, which is Salesforce Consulting Summit partner. And I want to tell you a little bit about managing the cross-functional teams in Salesforce implementations and why it is very important to include people from different disciplines into your team structure, and why it can actually help you grow and succeed when it comes to cooperation with your clients and partners. So, first of all, you need to gather your ingredients. So what are the cross-functional teams? You need to bring a bunch of people together. We usually see that during the pre-sale stages, sometimes people say, okay, let's put only developers on it. They will deal with all the expectations. Or can we cut the hours of BA or a designer? And of course, sometimes we need to do that because to be still competitive, to fight, let's say, on the market to get the projects in. However, I want to tell you that the best teams that functioned so well, speaking from the experience, are the teams which bring people from different worlds, from different view perspectives together to work on Salesforce as a technology. And basically the best recipe for a Salesforce team is to get people with different points of views to collaborate together, to bring some sort of innovative way to approach the problems, but it also requires a lot of patience. Because sometimes, especially for the technical folks, it will be hard to deal with maybe the guys who are more focused on business processes, that want to go deep into the strategy and planning. But if you put all of those elements together, then you will get a great result and delicious dish in form of your Salesforce project. What I like the most, this is a little bit pixelated because the screen have very, very large resolution. However, what I usually recommend in the project forming stage is to actually prepare a diagram that will map your internal roles that you are proposing to a client to client's team. And I think that this project shaping stage is very important for the successful delivery. Because if you don't know your counterparts, if you don't know who are decision makers on each of the levels on the side of your customer, it will be likely that you are not going to succeed. So we always try to do this mapping. We always try to identify the counterparts, and we want to engage them in dialogue as soon as possibly we can. And now, what we need to do is to make sure that we have a clear engagement rules, because without them, it will be a mess. If we bring people from different disciplines that want to work in a bit of a different way, we need to have a strict, let's say, rule set in place for them to understand how we are going to cooperate and how we are going to coordinate our efforts to mutual success. So this is the checklist that I usually recommend. Make sure that there is a clear communication. If someone has a problem, they can express it clearly. They know to whom they can go to say that there is a problem with delivery or the project. That everyone understands the project goals. And this is very important because sometimes I was asking people who were working on the projects for even very long time, what is the goal? What is the problem that what we are trying to solve here? Why the customer hired us as a consultancy to help them with their Salesforce implementation? And some people don't know. And this is a big issue, and you need to fight against it, because if someone performs a work just for sake of working, they will lose, let's say, focus on the picture that is behind it, which is usually solving clients' day-to-day problems. And trust and respect, of course, we are all professionals and we want to, let's say, work in a safe environment, and we want to be sure that we can be heard despite of our position, despite of our role in the project. And this is a very important one, because I've met the people in the past who will say, I'm a technical architect, or I'm a program delivery manager. My opinion is the most important, and there is no discussion. And I always propagate and I always vote for making sure that even the people who are just juniors or they are learning, they can be heard, and that we have the environment when everyone can speak freely about their ideas, because they may have very good ideas despite of being just junior. And adaptability, we heard today a lot about changing of the requirements. Our work, its nature is iterative, so you need to be prepared to quickly change and adjust to various different situations. And sometimes you need to change your ingredients as well and be prepared to modify the team structure accordingly to basically the situation that appears in front of you. And I cannot stress this enough, prepare your RACI matrix. Sometimes I've been on the projects that are lacking this element, and it only causes nothing but chaos. Basically, the people who are joining your project, they need to be sure that they understand their scope of work that they are going to perform, and they need to get who should be informed about the status and progress of the tasks that they are delivering throughout the project lifecycle. And what is even more important, try to prepare external-facing RACI matrix as well that will contain your client stakeholders. So you actually can execute and enforce the deliverables from the client side, if required as well, referring back to this document. And as the life goes, there may be situations where something goes wrong and the client will be unhappy. I mean, the guy clearly don't like the dish that we are delivering. And you need to be prepared also to face such situations, that despite of all the efforts, all the time that you put into your work, into your delivery, into the preparation of your project activities, that client, despite of all of this, will not like the outcome, or you will get, let's say, in the situation when you cannot deliver what you are supposed to. And there may be a plethora of different, let's say, variables that will cause this. The project may be underestimated. The roles that you choose for the delivery may not be fully aligned with the expectations of a client, or simply the client will not be able to find the consensus when it comes to the requirements they assumed will be simple at the start of the project. So I wanted to also show you the list of most common troublemakers to be sure that basically you will avoid that in your deliveries, or you will remember to accommodate them as potential risk factors when it comes to your project management. So of course, misaligned goals, especially in the big projects that involve multiple stakeholders from the client side, if there are different organizations acting as one company, or different departments even within the client's organization structure. They may come to your delivery project with different goals, and sometimes it happens they didn't even speak to each other before the project starts. So make sure to perform well your business analysis, that you will be sure that the goals that you define and the stories that you will write and document are what the client actually wants. Make sure that you play back this many, many times just to be, let's say, on the safe side when it comes to actual delivery, that you won't disappoint anyone with the stuff that you are going to present to them, even after the short period of time. Make sure that you understand that people may communicate in different ways. Some people will be shy, some people will be have this internal need to be at the center of the stage, and they will be always capturing, let's say, your time during the workshops, during the discussions about the intended functionalities. Make sure that you understand competing priorities as well. You are lucky if your project have a product owner who can, let's say, decide the scope and priorities for you. But if that's not the case, you need to understand and you need to be able to identify what comes first and what can be delivered a little bit later without any harm to your project. Team dynamics, of course, we are just people, and we've seen, and you did for sure as well, many different team compositions, and sometimes it will take just a little bit of time to get used to each other, of how we work, how we cooperate, and if there is something that you don't like. I am, let's say, for always open discussion. Workplace should be a place where you can basically tell what's wrong, and I think that if you cherish this type of environment, and you, let's say, enforce and encourage people to speak freely about their work problems, you will have less troublemakers, you will have less burnt projects. And of course, you need to make sure of the visual side of your deliverables. And it is very important as well, because sometimes people do a great job, but at the end they cannot, I hate the word, but sell it, they cannot present it properly to the client. So make sure that after you did all the great work, that you can prepare it in a nice way and sort of serve it to the stakeholders. And this is the last part that I really wanted to say, that in the project delivery, it matters as much as you perform the work, as well as how you are going to present it. Because you can write the shiniest code in the world, you can perform the greatest automations, but if the people don't realize what kind of value it brings to them and what problems does it solve, long term usually, they will have a problem to justify the cooperation with you for the longer term. And whew, it's quite hot in here. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the presentation. If you will have any kind of questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them now. If not, I'll be around. And yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much. Please stay with us on the stage. Do we have any questions? Do you guys have any questions? Yeah, from almost the front row.
Hey, so I wanted to touch more about communication with the clients. So from your experience, with regards to different communication styles, I know that implementers often like formal communication, like jury and stuff, and some clients really prefer, especially individuals, prefer informal communication where they can write directly to an implementer. How do you manage that? Do you adapt to the client or?
Yes, of course. So if the clients request to use any kind of tool set like Jira and to shorten the way to communicate, of course, we are not going to put a person in between just to be a translator. And we are not going to tell them, okay, you like to put your comments directly to Jira tickets, but here is our BA, you need to ask them first and then they write the comment. No, we would say it's okay to write a comment, but we would go and review them regardless later to see what kind of points they are raising, if they can be, let's say, propagated directly to the implementators, or we need to have like a wider discussion with the team. And sometimes we go all different way into the spectrum, and we prepare all different kinds of visual cues and trackers that people can go and check outside of Jira without any contact with the implementators. So I think that what helps is that usually when we start the projects, we start to, and we plan to perform something which is called program shaping. And during that stage, we try to sort of measure what kind of style of communication and what kinds of ways of engagement our clients will prefer. And then we try to basically prepare our delivery methodology aligned to those expectations.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other questions? I don't think so. Thank you so much, Piotr. Thank you for joining us. Right now, Paweł is also joining us on stage. So, Piotr, if you could just come back for a moment more, because we have an award for you to thank you for your engagement in our community.